When people think of aviation pioneers, names like the Wright brothers or Charles Lindbergh might come to mind. But there's one name that rises above them all. A woman whose legacy isn't just about flight, but about fearlessness, mystery, and defying expectation. That name is Amelia Earhart. The story of Amelia isn't just about where she flew, it's about where she dared to go, in the sky and in the world. Her disappearance in 1937 turned her into an icon, but her life was the real adventure. Amelia Mary Earhart was born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas. She was raised in a world where girls were expected to wear dresses, play with dolls, and prepare for domestic life. Amelia did none of those things. She climbed trees. She hunted rats with a rifle. She collected newspaper clippings about successful women in law, engineering, and science. From an early age, she was building a mental blueprint of who she could be, not who she was supposed to be. Her family life was unstable. Her father struggled with alcoholism and job insecurity, and the family moved frequently. But Amelia was curious, bright, and independent. She worked as a nurse's aide during World War I and studied medicine at Columbia University before dropping out. At the time, her future was uncertain until she saw an airplane for the first time. In 1920, at a California airfield, Amelia paid $10 for a 10-minute ride in an airplane. That short flight changed her life. As the plane lifted off the ground, so did something inside her. As soon as we left the ground, she later wrote, I knew I myself had to fly. Within months, she was taking flying lessons from Netta Snook, one of the only female flight instructors in the US at the time. Amelia worked odd jobs, truck driver, photographer, stenographer, to pay for lessons. In 1921, she bought her first plane, a bright yellow Kinner Airster she nicknamed the Canary. Flying wasn't a hobby, it was freedom. It was the antidote to every restriction society placed on her as a woman. Amelia became one of the earliest members of the 99s, a group of women pilots formed to support and promote female aviators. In 1928, Amelia's life changed overnight when she was asked to join a historic flight across the Atlantic, not as a pilot, but as a passenger. The plane would be piloted by Wilma Stultz and Lewis Gordon. Amelia would be the first woman to cross the Atlantic by air. The media dubbed her Lady Lindy, referencing Charles Lindbergh's solo Atlantic flight the year before. Amelia knew her role was limited. She didn't actually pilot the aircraft, but she understood the symbolic power of being there. She played the game smartly, using the fame to build a platform. Upon her return, she became a celebrity. She was feted at the White House, went on lecture tours, wrote books, and became a fashion icon. She even designed her own clothing line for women who wanted to dress comfortably and stylishly. But Amelia wasn't interested in being a mascot. She wanted to be at the controls. Over the next decade, Amelia set record after record. First woman to fly solo across the North American continent and back. First woman to fly solo non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean in 1932, exactly 5 years after Lindbergh. First person to fly solo from Hawaii to California, a route many believed was impossible. She didn't just break speed and distance records. She broke gender barriers, cultural expectations, and the very idea of what a woman was capable of. Amelia was also a writer, speaker, and activist. She used her fame to champion equal rights, especially for women. Women must try to do things as men have tried, she said. When they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others. She supported the Equal Rights Amendment and spoke openly about the need for women to be financially independent and intellectually engaged. In 1931, Amelia married George Palmer Putnam, a publisher who had helped organise her Atlantic flight and later published her books. Their relationship was unusual for the time. She insisted on an open marriage, refused to take his name, and described their union as a partnership between equals. Before the wedding, she wrote George a letter that read more like a legal agreement than a love note. I want you to understand, I shall not hold you to any medieval code of faithfulness. nor shall I consider myself bound to you, similarly. It was shocking. Unapologetic. Pure Amelia. By 1937, Amelia was the most famous female pilot in the world. But she had one more goal: to become the first person to fly around the world along the equator, the longest possible route. Her aircraft was a twin-engine Lockheed Electra, specially modified for the journey. Her navigator would be Fred Noonan, an experienced sailor and aviation expert. Their first attempt in March 1937 was aborted after the plane was damaged on takeoff. The second attempt began on June 1st, 1937, departing from Miami, Florida. Over the next month, they flew more than 22,000 miles, making stops in South America, Africa, India, and Southeast Asia. By July, they had only 7,000 miles to go, most of it over the Pacific Ocean. On July 2nd, 1937, Amelia and Fred took off from Lae, New Guinea, en route to Howland Island, a tiny sliver of land in the Pacific, just over a mile long. It was one of the most difficult legs of the journey, 2,500 miles over open ocean, with no landmarks and minimal radio contact. They never made it. The last transmission received from Earhart was, "We are on the line 157337. We are running north and south." Then silence. The US government launched the most expensive and extensive search in history at the time. Navy ships, planes, and island patrols combed the area. Nothing was found. In 1939, Amelia Earhart was officially declared dead. She was 41 years old. Amelia's disappearance became one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Dozens of theories have emerged. The most accepted theory is they ran out of fuel and went down in the ocean. Some believe they crash-landed on what is now Nikumaroro, a remote coral atoll, and died as castaways. Human bones were found there in 1940, but later lost. A more dramatic idea was that Amelia was on a secret mission for the US and captured by the Japanese. There's no credible evidence to support this. Wild theories claim she returned to the US under a new name. These have been widely debunked. Despite numerous expeditions, sonar scans, and DNA testing, the truth remains elusive. The ocean keeps its secrets well. While the mystery has fueled endless speculation, what often gets overshadowed is the woman herself. Amelia Earhart was not just a missing pilot. She was a feminist icon, an early voice for equality, and a person who lived boldly in a cautious world. She was the kind of person who once said, "The most effective way to do it is to do it." She believed in progress through action. She didn't wait for permission. And she made mistakes. Mechanical failures, risky routes, navigational errors. But she never let failure define her. She showed that visibility matters, that seeing a woman in a flight suit, in the cockpit, on the cover of newspapers, mattered. She turned flight into a platform for representation. Today, Amelia Earhart's name is synonymous with courage. Airports, schools, scholarships, and even a crater on the moon bear her name. She remains a subject of films, books, and academic study. In 2023, the Amelia Earhart Fellowship, established by Zonta International, continues to fund female students pursuing aerospace engineering. Her story still inspires young women to take up space in fields where they're underrepresented, literally and figuratively. Amelia may have vanished from the earth, but she lives on in the sky, in every risk-taker, explorer, and woman who chooses to leap before she's told she can fly. Amelia Earhart didn't just disappear, she ascended into myth, into legend, into history. She was a woman ahead of her time, flying with hands on the throttle and eyes on the horizon, never content to live within the boundaries drawn for her. Her story isn't just about aviation, it's about audacity. It's about taking the controls of your own life and steering into the unknown, with grace, grit, and an open sky ahead. She may be lost to time, but she'll never be forgotten.